What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sport Jumbo. Today we're looking at what NFL players really think of Bill Belichick.
So you're saying that Bill Belichick has a more disciplined football mind and he imparts that on his staff and the players?
Yes.
To say Bill Belichick is the NFL's toughest man to figure out would be a huge understatement. Notoriously grumpy and tight-lipped with the media, the New England Patriots head coach remains a total mystery at age 67. And while some of Belichick's players readily admit that there is a softer, funnier side to their boss, there are also plenty of stories that paint the future Hall of Famer as well a jerk.
Stupid thing.
That brings us to Ted Johnson, who played 10 seasons for the Patriots, 5 of which came under the iron fist of Belichick. During an appearance on Wednesdays on 98.5, the Sports Hub's Toucher and Rich, Johnson explained how Belichick's cutthroat mentality often comes at the expense of personal relationships with his players. I know he can do bad guy type of things, where it's inappropriate, crossing the line, where you're kind of dehumanizing the guy. To some degree, said Johnson, who added Belichick's coldness raises to a level higher than any of his peers. I just don't think other coaches have that killer mentality where they'll do wherever it takes, step on a guy's throat, cross boundaries to do anything it takes to just win. I don't think other coaches are wired that way. I think Bill is, and Bill makes no apologies. I don't know how many friends he's made doing it the way he has. Johnson did say that Belichick will reach out to players and admit when he's wrong, but that his motivations for doing so are somewhat questionable. If there's something that he's done to a player where the player has a right to be upset that potentially can expose him, Malcolm Butler, he knows what happened. He knows exactly why he was benched in Super Bowl 52. Malcolm Butler hasn't said anything, partly because he's still active in the NFL, but what Bill will do, and he did this in the case of Malcolm Butler, is he reached out to Malcolm Butler. Butler and Belichick did connect after that Super Bowl. They worked things out, and Bill smoothed things over with Malcolm. While Johnson believes Belichick sometimes is genuine in his remorse, the 3-time Super Bowl champ also believes Belichick oftentimes is looking to cover himself and prevent mutiny or public ridicule. It's definitely maybe a strategy of his. This bit from Johnson is particularly fascinating. In my case, when I had my issues with him in 2002, it was not good. It was not a very good working environment, Johnson said. It was very personal. It was a terrible time for me because I just was not mentally 100% focused. I was just down on going to work and playing at the level I wanted to play at, and Bill saw that. Bill came to me week 6 and 7 and extended the proverbial olive branch, if you will, and said, "Ted, we gotta work this out." He gave me some compliments, gave me some nice feedback on how I played, and it was like he was human at that moment, and it was the first time I'd ever seen that side of him, where he was holding himself accountable, wanting to work things out, and it wasn't going well between us. And that was it. I was captain the next year, and I didn't have any problems with Bill the rest of my career, because he did that. Bill holding himself accountable to the player and coming back, looping back around eventually to smooth things out with that player is kind of a powerful exchange, if you will. And my feeling is that's what happened with Butler, because Butler potentially could spill the beans and answer the questions we're all dying to know. Added Johnson, he's got too much power. Belichick is the greatest coach to ever coach. He's just got a lot of power, and he's got tentacles and is far-reaching in his power. So if you criticize Bill, players feel like there's a price to pay for that. Johnson retired from football after the 2004 season, so the bulk of his experience with Belichick came nearly 2 decades ago. The 46-year-old believes Belichick has softened in the years since, with Butler's benching against the Eagles and the subsequent lashing from Patriots fans serving as a major turning point. After that, it was such a public, on the biggest stage, showing everyone what he's capable of doing, Johnson said. So the whole world saw it, and the fans, for the first time, questioned his decision-making. It had to impact him in some way. You just saw more likable, more engaging, and approachable type of head coach after that. With the players, it just seems that he's changed his attitude. Johnson's testimony adds more color to a mostly gray portrait of a man who continues to defy explanation. Has he given fans reason to believe he's a genuinely good person at his core? Sure. However, there's just as much evidence suggesting that Belichick has a ton of rot in his personality as well. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Sport Jumbo. Make sure you guys hit that like button and comment down below if Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.